if you're a Filipino watching this, please do not have the misconception that there are no fans. There's no AC in our country. There is, so there is. As if we don't have young
Hi
students. We
everyone,
have young
welcome back to my
instructors. We have to.
channel. So today we are going to start our very first ever reaction video. I know the background is changed, that's because I moved from my bedroom to my living room because I needed to use a table and I needed a strong Wi-Fi connection. That's why I'm here. So we're going to react to some things I saw on YouTube. But before then, I need to say thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to my new subscribers, my old subscribers, my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for helping in the growth of this channel. And of course, we're seeing this first time. Please go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the post notification button. So guys, the video I'm going to be reacting to from is actually by Fairies, and it's titled Differences Between Studying in the Philippines and Studying in Nigeria, Part 1, My Experience. She has about 45,657 views and has about 747k subscribers. So let's begin.
Hello everyone, my name is Fairies. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you have been around, thank you. Today I am going to be listing the main differences or the differences between studying in Nigeria and studying in the Philippines. So I'm Nigerian, and I've
She's a
literally
gorgeous girl,
studied
first of all.
in
She's
Nigeria
a
more than
girl.
half of my life.
She
I had
has
my elementary,
the facial
high school,
structure of a
and
model, so
nursing school in Nigeria. So I did get a couple of
that's
messages
gorgeous.
from especially Nigerians asking me why I chose to study in the Philippines and
Yeah, we
what
all
it feels
get
like
that
studying
message a
here
lot.
as compared to studying in Nigeria. Why today I will not essentially be mentioning or I'll be explaining why I chose the Philippines. However, I'll be telling you the differences between studying home in Nigeria and I'm studying here in the Philippines. And without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Yeah.
I have listed 9 main differences between studying in Nigeria and studying in the Philippines.
Undergraduate students in the Philippines wear
Philippines,
school
university students,
uniform.
undergraduate students wear school uniforms. Hold up. You know, this was the very first like shocking experience I had.
That's true.
As soon as I walked
I
into
don't
the
think we necessarily
university
wear
compound,
school
I
uniform
can remember
in
standing there and
universities
asking my
back
friend
home.
whom I had
But
come
if you
with,
go to the private
what is
schools,
going on here?
there
Why are
is
they
a
on
certain
uniforms?
dress
And she was
code.
like, oh, you
Okay?
know, the way uniforms in this country. I was pleasantly surprised. But then, at the time, I was like, no, why? You know, I kept asking why. Then I figured out that literally all the schools I know, or most of the schools in this country, wear uniforms, which is not the same with university back home in Nigeria. Like students wear what they want to wear. I think each department have their own uniform, but probably like once in a week or something like that, or once in 2 weeks. You know, we basically wear like mufti and our outfits, heels and flats and shorts and sweaters. You know, whatever you want to wear. It is a freaking university. I mean, in secondary school, we wear school uniforms, right? In Nigerian secondary schools, we wear school uniforms. So one of the highlights of entering higher institution in Nigeria is at least you will stop putting on school uniform. Like no more uniforms. You can wear what you want to wear.
The greatest
It's
highlight
I think
of
that's one of
being
the
in
things
uni
that
is
makes
that
going
no more
to the
uniform.
university so
So
fun,
that's a good
and
point.
students feel like a level of independence from being ordered around and told to wear this or wear that and all of that. So coming here and finding out that students wear uniform was like a big shocker to me. Well, I had to do what I had to do. As much as I didn't like the fact that I had to go on to wear uniform.
But actually,
then,
if you went to school of nursing,
I still wear uniforms.
they do wear
regardless.
uniforms,
So
right?
that was the very
So it
first
can be in the same
shock
level
I had
back in Nigeria.
as far as the university goes. Number two, in the Philippines there is no jam.
Philippines, there's no jam.
So Nigerians already know what jam is, but for the sake of Filipinos that are going to watch this video, I will explain what jam is. So jam is called Joint Admissions Matriculation Board, JAMB. Jam is just like math in the Philippines.
Jam is not like MMAT. Jam is different because this is the only thing that makes you eligible to go to the university. But in NMAT, you already have your degree, so you're taking something to be able to study medicine. And then I would entirely say that Philippines does not have jam. Philippines have their own kind of exam that qualifies you to enter the university, especially if you're going to the state-owned universities. For example, UP Delaman, you have to write that exam, you have to pass it before you get. So I wouldn't entirely say that Philippines does not have their own kind of exam. They do have their own kind of exam, except you're going to a private institution like the school I go to, where the exam is just basically English proficiency exam, mostly for those for the Arab speaking country. But that story is a true false kind of point, because Philippines do also have their kind of exam if you're going to the state-owned or the federal government-owned university. Okay, don't get it twisted. They get their own exam too. Okay.
You know, MMAT is a national examination for medical school, right? Here in the Philippines. Back home, JAM is a national exams for high school or secondary school graduates. Depending on your score, then you can be admitted into different universities. When you're writing JAM or when you're filling up the JAM application form, you have
She said two universities. When you're filling up the JAM form, you have three options. You choose a university, you choose a polytechnic, and you choose a college of education. One will ask, what are those two? University is like university, where there are multifacets you study. Polytechnic is where okay, in a university you get your diploma, you get your bachelorette degree, if I'm not mistaken. Then in the polytechnic, it's more like they give you what we call the HND and OND. OND, ordinary national diploma, higher national diploma. It's still 4 years, but what they give you is not an equivalent to a bachelor degree which you get from the university. So that's the polytechnic. And then the college of education is like where they teach you things to become a teacher. Like for it, like in the Philippines here, you have college of teacher education as a like a department, but in Nigeria we have that as a branch of school on its own. So college of education, you go there to teach things. College of education produces the teachers we have today. Okay, don't get it twisted. It is actually three, but in each of those places you have two options. So in the university section, you have to choose two universities: polytechnic 2, college 2. And university is where you will need a higher cutoff mark to enter. Polytechnic, as far as you just pass the 180 cutoff mark, polytechnic and college education can take you. But university, each college or each major you're going to has its own cutoff point, and that is, let me speak pidgin. Now that jam, they jam people. That's why most of them are here. Don't allow them telling you, oh, my country refused to give me admission. No, you did not pass the jam. End of story. Let's go back to the video.
Universities, right? And then your second choice university is always for fun, because most times just forget it. They wouldn't admit you.
Oh, she said the second choice always for fun. No, it's not for fun. Second choice is like when they say do not put all your bets in, all your eggs in one basket. The second choice is what to fall back on. In my own case, the university, my first choice was Ahmadu Bello University. On the day of the post-UTME, which is another exam you write after JAM, was my graduation day from high school, so I couldn't go. My second choice was Nnamdi Azikiwe University, which I went and wrote the exam. So maybe in a separate video, I'll give you my own gist around the Nigerian thing. But Don't get it twisted. Your second choice is not for fun. No. Second choice is a choice. Let's go back.
University option. So you write the JAM examination, you pass. It's usually over like 400, I think. You pass, and depending on your score and the course you applied for in the school, you can go ahead and write a second examination that is tailored to the school you applied for.
She said usually over 400. Yes, not usually over. The
JAM's
question is 400 questions.
Usually there's a cut-off mark.
Cutting across 4 of your major. For example, if you're in the science, like in the engineering facet, you're going to take math, physics, chemistry, and English. If you're in the medicine or nursing, you're going to take math, English, biology, and either physics or chemistry. And you have to pass those things very well. Like I said before, each university has, and each major has their own cutoff points. You need to meet that before you're able to be admitted in a university, and that is the beginning of many now downfalls of Nigeria. Let's go back.
Mark and the course cutoff mark, you can go ahead and write their aptitude test and probably get admitted or not.
Yeah, the second exam she's talking about is what I said before. It's called the post-UTME. This exam is done or composed or prepared by the institution this time. So, for example, if you chose Obafemi Awolowo University, the second exam after JAM is done by the faculty members of Obafemi Awolowo University. While the first one, the JAM, is the one that everybody in the country writes, which is formed by the JAM board. Okay.
Or usually you will get admitted, but you'll be admitted into a program you don't want to study. I can remember one of my friends she wanted to study medicine. Nigeria we call it medicine and surgery. In the Philippines they call it medicine. And you know what, they gave her, I think, fishery or soil science, something like that. So they'll usually give you something you don't want to study and something you have no interest in. So usually students, for the fear of staying at home for 1 more year, would end up studying programs they absolutely have no business studying.
First of all, there's nothing like medicine. It's medicine. There's nothing like medicine. We are not grooming. You're not talking like those in the park. It's medicine and surgery. I know a lot about medicine because my people wanted me to study medicine and surgery, but I like biology and stuff, but I'm in the engineering section. So she said something about they will give you admission, but not in the course you wanted. That is not true. Let me tell you why it's not true. If you did not meet the cutoff point, and then they still gave you admission when you haven't met the cutoff point, of course, they'll give you any degree that falls in that cutoff point. For example, the cutoff point for medicine and surgery is 380 out of 400. And then you have 250 and you want to do medicine and surgery. But are you the owner of the university? If you have, they manage to give you admission, they give you botany, zoology, whatever, agronomy, you take it because you did not meet the 380 for medicine and surgery. People should stop saying this thing. If you don't meet the cutoff point, they know will give you medicine and surgery. Medicine and surgery. Nigerian University is for the smart. You have to be very smart. Very, 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 very. Fisheries. Not a fishery. No a person. No a person they cultivate the fish where they chop. Fishery or something like that. That's the problem with our Nigeria too. We think every other course aside from the professional ones we hear about is not important. So when they give you fishery, botany, agronomy, whatever, you think it's something bad. It's a subject though. It's a course. It's a major.
Unfortunately. So that is for Nigeria. Unlike in the Philippines, there is no JAM. You have wider and broader options of applying directly, just like in the US, to the schools you want to apply to. For example, when I wanted to get my master's degree. I wanted to do an MSN, which is a Master's of Science in Nursing. However, most of the schools I saw here, we are offering MA and Masters of Arts in Nursing, which was not what I wanted to study. So I did tons of research and I found, I think, 15 schools. They were offering MSN. This was back in 2017, so the figures may be wrong. But what happened was that I tailored my options down to 5 schools, 4 schools for MSN and 1 school for MAN, which were CEU, Central Escola University, my current school, Suleiman University, St. Louis University, Baguio, Adventist University of the Philippines. These 4 schools were offering MSN. Then the 5th school was Trinity University of Asia in Quezon City, because then I lived in Manila. I lived in Quezon City, actually, just a walkable distance to Trinity. So I just applied and I did get accepted in the 5 schools. So what I did was I had to visit all the schools one by one. I went to Adventist University of the Philippines located in Cavite. I went to CEU in Manila. I went to St. Louis University in Baguio. And I did go to, I did come to Dumagefe.
That's
Suleiman,
true.
and of course Trinity. When I checked out all the schools, the environment, the curriculum and everything, I just felt at home at Suleiman. So I chose to go to Suleiman. Unlike in Nigeria, you don't have like the options. I understand for master's degree maybe a little bit different in Nigeria because you can apply to different schools, but for undergrad you don't have that option of applying to as many schools as you want to. So, but then in the Philippines you have like more options of applying to schools. At the end of the day, you can narrow your options down to the school you really want to go to. Number 3. In the Philippines, you can transfer schools.
Which is true. The Philippines can transfer school, which is not good to me personally. Why are you transferring left and right? Like, why are you disturbing yourself? Stick to one school. But that's an open option for them. They can transfer school. That's why even Nigerians are making use of that. For example, they came to the Philippines. They first went to Loma. From Loma, they moved to Cavite. From Cavite, they went to Las Pinas. They're moving like that. And at the end of the day, you have several transcripts from other school. She said the umbilical, yeah, that's
Come
true.
in Nigeria,
That's a
if
fact. In
you go to a
Nigeria,
particular
your
school, just
umbilical
as if
cord
your
is tied to
umbilical
your
cord
school.
is tied to
No,
the school.
even
There's
no moving
let me
left and
leave
right.
this school, I
No,
don't like this
stay in
professor,
one
I
school
don't
and
like
finish
this,
it. That is how.
No.
That's how we
If
do
you
it
leave,
in Nigeria.
you have to
That's
start
how we do
fresh.
it.
Literally, most times you have to write jam again, or you probably will go to a private university. But you cannot just be in Nigerian like university and be like, oh no, I don't like this school. Let me change school. You don't do that there. Almost impossible. Like, I've never heard of anyone do it. I'm sure a few people
You don't do
it,
that there.
but probably one in 1,000. So we just don't worry, you don't have that option. So if you're going to school in Nigeria, it's just as if like, yeah, this is the school you're going to. You just have to be here, graduate here, study the program they gave to you, even if you don't like it. Because if you don't want to study the program, you have to spend 1 whole year back home. Write jam again.
Yes, you write jam a lot of times. Some people have PhD.
Some people stay at home writing jam 5, 6, 7
That's when they say jam will jam you.
That is a no-no.
The Philippines, we call our teachers professors, and back home we call them lecturers. I don't agree with that. In the Philippines, most of the times we call our teachers instructors. Instructors, like my college, in my institution, University of Cordilleras, Baguio, we always call it our instructors. I've never heard anyone call them professors. But back in Nigeria, in my university days, yes, we called our
a
Listen,
professor in school
professors and
in Nigeria
lecturers.
is
So
someone
there,
who has
I
written
do not
books and
agree. That is a
gotten
lie. I don't know which school you
a
came from,
doctorate
but in
degree
Nigeria we
and
call
has
our
gone ahead
teachers
to
in the
write books
higher
and
institution
publications and all of
professors
that.
and
So
lecturers.
calling someone a
Here,
professor
it's
in Nigeria is kind of a really,
instructors.
really
It might
big
be wrong,
deal.
but that is all I've heard all my life here.
The people we call professors are like retired men and women, like like academicians, that kind of.
No. I'm going to stop you there. That mindset is very archaic. A professor in Nigeria doesn't necessarily have to be old. That was the old idea we had. Professors in Nigeria nowadays, like 2013, when did I go to universities? 2011, 2013, 2012, 2015. From 2011 to 2015, I went to university in Nigeria. My professors were young men in their 20s and early 30s. So this idea of it's very archaic and it's no longer true. So please, that is not true at all.
Stuff. So in the Philippines, we call the teachers professors. So I can remember coming here and I'm hearing one of
This
my
is
Filipino
archaic. I disagree.
classmates, or one of my Filipino classmates, call one young man professor.
I disagree. I have a professor in my household who was not even up to 30 years old. There was no degree,
So
there was no
wow,
PhD
or
or books.
blah, blah.
Like,
Then,
because that's how you call someone who
one day when I was
teaches
talking to this man, I
in
was
the
like, wow, so
higher
professor,
institution.
what degrees you
Please,
have?
that
And
idea
like,
is very archaic. If you're watching this video, please do not have that mindset.
I only have my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. I'm like, but you're a professor.
Maybe in your school.
He's like, yeah.
Me is instructor.
That was when I knew that I fucked up. As a matter of fact, a professor is someone who like teaches. I think who teaches back home.
You were so impressed because a young person professor. Please let me ask Favy, if you ever get to watch this video later or someone send it to you, please, which school did you go to that all your professors that you know were old men? Because the professor I knew when I went to college in Nigeria from 2011 to 2015 for coming here were all young boys. They were in their late 20s and early 30s. I could even maybe in this video I will find their pictures because we're still friends on Facebook and show you to them. Those are my professor in kinematics, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, and all that stuff. Please don't this mindset is for the olden days Nigerian. Now professors are young boys. At your age, you should already be a professor.
Lecturer. So that's another difference. In case you're coming to the Philippines to study. Number 5. When I came to the Philippines, I was so glad to see that our classrooms were fully air conditioned. Wow.
Wait.
There was no.
Did her
it's too much
option
like,
wait?
The aircon
did
was
I see
always
wrong?
on,
Did
but
I
there was
just
a
see
problem.
wrong that a difference for her is air conditioned classrooms? Wait, let me listen to what she has to say first before I explode. What? You were glad to see a condition. Please, which bush did you come out from?
And they wear cardigans. I'm like, wow.
I have been in air-conditioned classroom all my freaking life.
We don't come to
from
school like
from elementary school, let's say from nursery to kindergarten to primary to
raining.
Well, please, which bush did you come out from? That one is not an option.
Going to school
please,
every day,
that one is
carrying
not.
like
Let me
jackets
listen to
and
what I have to
cardigans.
say.
So whenever like we are in class, we have no cardigans. My classmates will turn on the aircon to the coolest, and then we'll be shaking like what? Just put it in maybe 23 or something.
Oh, that's true.
To the coolest,
Filipino classmate here will always turn on the ventilation system to the coolest, especially when they come with their own pullovers, cardigans, and whatnot. Like in my own school, first of all, I live in Baguio City. Baguio City is the coldest city in the Philippines. Right now, the temperature is at 12 degrees. as cold as the temperature is, when we get to school, in our classroom we have because my school, like since I'm in the College of Engineering and Architecture, we are like our classes are in the basement, so 2 floors down. That's like probably about 6 feet, about more than 12 feet or more down. So it's Baguio, it's cold, and you're going downward, it's also cold. So in there we have like sometimes we have like 4 exhaust fan to help us remove the dust from the chalk. We also have like standing fans, and some part there's still some AC. There's sometimes you go to school and your classmates will turn on every single ventilation system, and probably that day when you went, you didn't carry anything like this, you are going to freeze. Filipinos do that, and it's not good. And I used to get back at them when it's my own turn.
I targeted a day I knew they didn't come with cardigans, and God bless me, I came with a jacket. I went and put the aircon on the coolest and sat very close to the aircon. Girl, you cannot change it. That was when they knew that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah, check that. In Nigerian schools, we basically don't really have aircons in our class unless you're going to one of those very posh British schools. That's usually in high school, but I have not seen any classroom in Nigeria with aircon. Not saying there are not those ones, of course. If you go to like really posh Irish schools, British schools, American schools, and all of that, you may find. I mean, I did go to private schools in Nigeria, but even at that, we don't have aircons in class. So if you do have aircons in your class in Nigerian schools, you must be the tea.
No. Disagree about the posh. See, I don't know which city. I'm still saying I don't know which city, which bush, which locality you came from. It's not about being posh. Well, yes, I went to a private school, but it's not about being posh. They are fans. First of all, why do you need AC in a country that is not as hot as the Philippines? Nigeria is not as hot as the Philippines. Nigeria is not as hot as Manila or the so-called Dumageti where you stay. Nigeria, we have a very amiable weather. If it's hot now, cool breeze will blow in sometimes. So don't be talking about posh schools. No. I disagree. Posh British school. No, I didn't go to a British school. I didn't go to posh, but I literally, from my father's house to the class and back was AC. The school bus that picked me was the coaster bus, AC. The school, my class, AC. College, the same. So I don't, please, let me tell you, relocate to Akwa Ibom State, okay? Relocate. So when you go back, I know from your name, you're an Igbo girl. Relocate to Akwa Ibom State. So you'll be experiencing all these things, and it will not be new for you to see all these things in the Philippines. These things already existing where I come from.
Classroom in Nigeria with aircon. Not saying there are not those ones, of course. If you go to like really posh Irish schools, British schools, American schools, and all of
Posh
that,
Irish.
you may find. I mean, I did go to private schools in Nigeria, but
I disagree.
we don't have aircons in class. So if you do have aircons in your class in Nigerian,
the private schools. Wait, you went to private school in Nigeria? There's no aircon. Please, when you get back, go and collect your money. They chop your money. I went to private school. There was aircon. This owning the aircon thing when it's cold, we used to do that to our classmates. So if you went to private school and there was no aircon in your own, when you go back to Nigeria, go and collect your money back. So don't come and generalize it, because I disagree.
Number 6 difference between studying in the Philippines and studying in Nigeria
It's
is
nothing
that
about being the tea.
obviously it's not your country. You have to keep renewing your student visa every year. Unlike in the US or UK, where if you're going to study for, let's say, 5 years, you'll be given a 5-year visa. The Philippines, as a matter of fact, when you're coming to this country, you're given a tourist visa. When you come, you change it to a student visa, and then
I said that in my video about
every year you pay
what you
nothing
need to know
less
before
than
you get here.
$300.
You renew your visa every year.
Extend your visa.
Other parts of the world, you're given visa
every year
for the duration of the degree.
iCard and all of this stuff. iCard is your resident, like your resident permits. One other thing I wanted to highlight is, if you're a student in this country, before you leave, like maybe visit somewhere, Singapore, Japan, or wherever you want to visit, you have to pay around $50 at the immigration before you leave. So every time I travel, they charge me 2,000, actually more than $50, because they always charge me like 2,900 and something pesos for me to leave every time I travel, so which is almost $60. It's crazy. As an international student in the Philippines, your tuition is obviously higher. Not just are you paying student visa renewal fee every year, you are also paying every semester foreign student fee, and your miscellaneous is more expensive. Your tuition on this one, for example, if my classmates are paying 1,000 pesos for one unit, I am paying 2,000 pesos for one unit, and again I will still have to pay foreign students fee, which I think is really absurd. Another difference between studying in Nigeria and studying in the Philippines for me is that sometimes my teachers drift into Tagalog. I can remember one of my classes, my just concluded statistics class. I hope my professor does not see this video, but
I know, because
whenever like she's teaching, you can imagine how difficult statistics is, with the whole calculations, arithmetics and formulas and all of that. As this woman is
not
teaching,
difficult, Jerry. If you don't know math, you don't know math.
Something like really like in depth, like if she wants to explain the meat of the topic, she goes ahead to blot it out in Visaya, and I'm like, interesting. You know, and it feels, sometimes you feel out of place, sometimes you feel left out, sometimes all I want to do is just like go.
And that's true. Most instructors do that. Or some of them will say something bad
by the way,
in their language. So better still learn the language like I did. When they are speaking, nothing move you, nothing shake you.
So you have to get used to the fact that sometimes the teachers point. The ninth and final one is, if you're studying something medical related, just something that would require you going for clinicals at the hospital, you resume by 7 a.m. I mean, at home we resume by 8 a.m. but here you resume by 7 a.m. which is, ooh, I was not used to that. Can I remember if you want to go to clinicals, they tell us you have to be at the hospital at 6:45 a.m. I'm like, what? 6 what? It's so hard, like
7
very hard to
I wouldn't
adjust.
say
Like,
it's just for the
God,
clinicals.
I think clinicals was
here,
one of the hardest times
your first,
of my stay in
my
this country.
first ever class was by 7:30 a.m. And in order to hit the bustle and hustle of traffic in Baguio City, you need to wake up as early as 4 a.m. to get prepared. So at most by 6 a.m., 6:30, you're already in your means of transportation heading to school. So at most, you should already be in school at the school gate by 7 a.m. to make it to the 7:30 class. So it's not just clinicals, it's basically the whole class. Like classes, the earliest time classes is 7:30 a.m. The latest class I have ever attended in my life, latest, is I've had class till as late as 10:30 p.m. That's my point about this whole thing. There are points she said here that are true. There are some that are just unbelievable. Number one, the one that really shook me is the professor and the lecturer thing. I don't know which school she said she went to School of Nursing, but the school I went to, University of Uyo in Akwa Ibom State, we called our teachers or whatever, we called them professors and lecturers. And secondly, my professors and lecturers were young boys in their 20s and early 30s. I have picture of them, which I may or may not put in this video, but I have picture of them. They were young boys that they were my instructors, because back then in the University of Europe, I studied petrochemical engineering. My instructors in kinematics, physics, differential equation, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, they were all young men who were so smart. Like, so most of them had already done with their masters. Most of them had already just started their PhD in UI, University of Ilorin. So that point of where professors are old men, I disagree. That is not in my country. That is in her own country, not the country I come from. The second point is about the AC. Like, she's freaked out. She was surprised to see AC in the class. Like, how can someone be so, like, oh, she said she went to a private school, that they were not AC. Like, my dear, if you went to a private school and you were not AC in your class, when you go back to Nigeria, go and collect your money. They chop your money for no reason. I went to a private school too. There were ACs and fan / exhaust fan. And these were not British school, Irish school, or whatnot that she was saying. These were just normal private school owned by fellow Nigerians. I went to that. I went to a private school where you were fed 6 times a day. 6 times a day. Not just any kind of food. We were fed as if we were living in the president's house. And this is not about British or whatever school. So in, let's say, nursery or kindergarten, elementary, I went to a school, private school. From my house to the school to the house, but it was from one AC to another. The bus we used was a coaster bus. From the AC bus to AC classroom, from AC classroom to AC bus to AC house. So that is why I'm fresh, Diary. There's AC. I don't know which state you're from, but if you've not seen AC in any school before, please relocate to Akwa Ibom State. Even in the government-owned school, you will see the littlest thing as a fan in the class. So I do not agree with that point, and that no. The last point I do not agree with is the jam and why they will give you a course you not want. They only give you a course or a degree you not want when you do not meet the cutoff point. But if you met the cutoff point, of course they will give you the degree you chose for. Aside from that, every other thing she said is true. How Filipinos behave, how the Filipino instructors drift into Tagalog and all that, every other thing is true. But aside from that, my 3 main things I said, not true. So if you're a Filipino watching this, please do not have the misconception that there are no fans. There's no AC in our country. There is. There is. As if we don't have young students, we have young instructors. We have to. So anyway, that brings an end to my video for tonight. This is pretty long. So if you like this, remember to like, share, subscribe. If you're a Nigerian watching this, please go ahead and comment down below whether what I'm saying is the truth, or like share your experience. Okay, bye bye.